Everybody, welcome back. It's Wes Eisenshank here with Lost and Found Muscle Cars on YouTube. We also got the Facebook page, Lost Muscle Cars, which brings us to today's guest, Troy. Troy had a 1970 Chevelle SS 396 car, white with black stripes. Was it black vinyl top too, Troy?
It was.
Man, set this back up for me. Take me back to when you had this Chevelle. What was the first thing you remember about seeing this car and why you wanted it?
Well, it was 1995. I was a second-year apprentice through the electrical union, and my father had told me about this Chevelle that was sitting on L Street in Omaha at a little used car lot, and I immediately went over there to look at it, and I don't know. It was just love at first sight. It's it wasn't perfect, but it was a pretty respectable car and had a lot of documentation with it and stuff, which I'm kind of a, in a certain way, numbers guy. But yeah, it kind of struck me as just a really neat car.
Wow. So were you always a Chevy guy? Was Chevrolet in your family?
100%.
Okay. So you look at this Chevelle, it's 1995, and
Yes.
what do you have to do to make this purchase? It's a car on a lot, but is it something
Yep.
where you said you're an apprentice? I mean, do you have to go borrow some money? What's
I
the whole?
did.
Yeah, set it up here. What did you have to do to kind of get
Well,
ready to get this Chevelle?
luckily through our apprenticeship program or the union that they have a credit union that we're allowed to take $5,000 out, and that just happened to be exactly what he was asking for the car. So
Of
um,
course,
kind of went
we
that
don't put
route.
that money towards our career. We put that money towards a muscle car.
Yeah, we I ended up getting it. It took me, I remember, I think 2 or 3 days for the loan to go through, and it was just killing me. I remember being on the job site and just that's all I could think about. So
Oh,
I just had to have that car, and when the day finally came, driving it home was just a blast. I mean, almost shaking. It was just not a super high horsepower car, but it was a lot for me. I was 23 at the time, and man, it's everything I wanted.
anybody who's ever bought a dream car like that, you can relate to what Troy's saying. I mean, you can feel the energy of when you first sit down in that car, turn that key, and it's yours now. You're bringing it home. It's your car. So now you have this car, and how long did you have it?
I sold it in 97, so 3 years.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and we had some times in it. I mean,
Great news with Troy is he kept documentation, right? He told us that, he's a paperwork guy. He really likes his cars to have good, strong data with them. And he actually was smart enough to keep a serial number. The serial number is always huge. And of course, there's all these free places online where you can plug in a serial number and see if the car still exists. So from 1995 till when he sold it around 3 years later, and then until today, Troy really hasn't known what happened to his old Chevelle, right? We have the paperwork. We were able to kind of see that we maybe see a registration of it in California. So we are right now talking to you people. What's that? It, we might have a special guest for you today, Troy. Troy, I'd like to introduce you to Fennell. Fennell lives in California, and he happens to own a very special 70 Chevelle.
wow.
Just
Cool.
just like that, Troy, you are closing a gap from 1998 to 2025, and Fennell has been a phenomenal caretaker of your old Chevelle, and Fennell is in love with this car as well. Tell us about it, Fennell.
Hey, Troy, nice to meet you. Wes, it's a pleasure. Um, I bought the car a couple of years ago. Drove clear to Kearney, Nebraska. The owner at the time was in somewhere in Iowa. So he drove 5 or 6 hours, and I drove about 8. And I looked at the car, and it was just something I had been looking for, and I bought it on the spot.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
I
was
got a
it the
lot of
same?
history with that car. A
Oh,
lot of
I'll
stories that
bet.
I haven't told yet.
so was it the same feeling for you, Fennell, when you first saw this car? Was it something like, this is something that I have to have?
Well, it's kind of crazy because I just did get on a bunch of Facebook pages and Chevelle pages and stuff. And I said, this is what I'm looking for. And one guy responded, says, I have the car for you, 100% documented.
Oof.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, Fennell, I mean, we got Troy here, and I know Troy's eyes are looking to see something. You mind if we have a look at your old
Yep.
Chevelle?
You want to see it? Here we go.
Yes. Oh, man. Wow. That's amazing.
Troy, does it look like it's aged today?
It looks way better than when I had it. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah,
I mean,
even close on the tires. I remember having those white letter tires on it, and it had a bubble hood. Looks like maybe the hood got changed, but oh my gosh, that thing looks beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I
how
haven't done
about
anything to the car. Other than I have to be honest, and I did change the motor. I have the original motor sitting over in my warehouse, and I put a 502, like 520 horse in it.
Wow.
now, Troy said he actually raced this car a time or two back in the day. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that, Troy.
Well, other than a little bit of street racing we did with it, we took it up to Scribner, Nebraska, and just had a hell of a good time with it. It was not fast at all, to today's standards. I think it maybe ran a 15 at best on the street tires, and I just had a ball with it. I mean, it was just a lot of fun, and that racetrack's gone now, unfortunately. But yeah, wow, I just can't stop staring at it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you.
Fennell, are you a history guy? Is it fun for you to get more history on the Chevelle? Because now you and Troy can develop a friendship and continue on by learning more about this Chevelle.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to give one right now.
All right, let's hear
My
it, Troy.
wife's sitting next to me, so she's got to watch it too. But one of them was with a day I went to go buy the car on a car lot. And actually, I consider myself the second owner because I think this guy at the car lot, he didn't really have it out front or anything. I think he had just bought it. But the story that I got, and it seems to hold fairly true when I owned the car, was it was a father bought the car brand new for his son going to college. And I assume it was in Western Nebraska. So he bought the car for his son to drive while he was in college. The kid drove it, gave it back to the dad when the kid was done with it. So the car sat for I want to say it looked to me about 10 years, and in the process of that, the little push rod for the fuel pump had frozen in one spot. So when I got it, I think the guy that the dealer had a very short time, put an electric fuel pump on it, and put it right on his lot to sell. And I think the original owner did buy a set of NOS fenders, because there was a set of NOS fenders that came with it, and they were in the box, and it was sold with the car too. So I remember seeing the car about a year after I sold it at a car show in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and I think it may have been repainted then. It sure looked like it because it was in better shape. But
Yeah, no.
I have lots more stories
Yeah,
with it.
I bet. No, I believe so. I think some of the paperwork that I got with it was I believe it said it was painted either late 97 or early 98. So it's had one repaint.
Yep,
Yeah.
that would sound
Yeah.
probably about right. And it was bought new at H&H Chevrolet, is what I was told, here in Omaha.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It is amazing car, and it's super clean. And it's kind of crazy because this is what I do, right? Like I paint cars, we fix cars, but I don't want to touch it. It's just, I'm not into trailer queens. That's not my style. I drive my cars, and I drive them a lot. I drive this in the wintertime. I mean, it just snowed a couple days down here ago, so the roads are muddy and stuff right now, but I've driven it. I take it out in snow and in the rain, and people say, "You're crazy, Fennell. You shouldn't be driving that. That's a well-documented car." And I'm like, you know what? I didn't buy it to just have it sit in the garage, and that's just not me. And I drive it a lot, believe me.
How about this though, you guys? I mean, we could probably do this for 2-3 hours, but we have now closed the gap for Troy, and now
Yes.
he will know Fennell for probably the rest of each other's lives, and they'll be able to tell these amazing stories of the Chevelle.
Troy, it was a pleasure meeting you. I hope maybe you can friend request me on Facebook, and I can send you pictures and stuff I have of car shows and stuff. It has a good life.
Yeah.
It has a good life.
We might have to come visit the car.
This is Lisa, my wife.
Lisa, scooch on in a little bit. We got to see
30 years.
So what do you remember about this Chevelle, Lisa?
I'll tell you what, we've had a couple cars during our relationship, and this is the one he always talks about. This is the one that got away. This is the one I wish I wouldn't have sold that. I wish I knew where it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the car for him that he talks about it more than I can even.
I have a 67 Vet right now, and this was the car that got away. I love the Vet, but this is the one that I'd always dreamt about and enjoyed the most, probably.
I don't know if there's a single person who's ever hit the same spots in life like we all do, where you have to make a decision, right? Yep. Family comes first. Sometimes you need that garage space for another vehicle, and the toy goes.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. That one was the one that impressed me the most. I don't know, left the biggest impression on me. So,
well, Lisa and Troy, I see a vacation out to California in your future.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm guessing, Fennell, that 502 probably has a little bit more.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, it runs pretty good now.
So I have to tell you that on the Facebook page, one of the first comments was from somebody saying, "Isn't this the car we parted out?" And man, the disappointment,
Yeah, that one was
when we thought that it was gone, that it no longer existed, that was tough. So knowing that it still exists, that it's well cared for, looks great. I got a little teary-eyed when I saw it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I saw some of those comments as well,
beautiful.
And I was like, oh man, no, it didn't get parted out. It's right here.
It's kind of like sending your kid off to college, except for the Chevelle went off to college out in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it's living a great life, because that car, I knew in my heart it was just too nice for anybody to part out. There's just no way. So
tremendous.
Yeah, it is just looks amazing. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because I sure did.
Yeah, thank you. No, I am enjoying it.
Awesome.
All right, well, Lisa, Troy, and Fennell, thanks again for joining us here on Lost and Found Muscle Cars. It's amazing hearing your guys' old stories of the car, and then what Fennell has done with it to keep the hobby alive with this 70s Chevelle. From all of us at Lost and Found Muscle Cars, thank you. Don't forget, comment below. Tell us what you liked about this story, and we'll see you down the road.
My name's Troy. You're watching Lost and Found Muscle Cars, and you found my 1970 Chevelle SS.